We consider native plants a good choice for landscaping because they're the plants that evolved with our environment. Making sure that you have the right plant in the right place is key for being sustainable and water friendly. So make sure that even the natives are put into the environment that's best suited to their environment. Here I have a selection of native grasses. The selections have been made for improvements that really help us appreciate them in the landscape. Like Blonde Ambition blue grama grass is one that has a large number of seed heads. It's just starting to show it right here. Adds to the ornamental value of the planting to have these natives that will grow well, do well in our environment, but add a little bit of special ornamental interest so we all appreciate them in our own landscapes. I use a lot of prairie drop seed. It's something that goes right next to the edge of the concrete where your turf grass won't grow, where perennials might have a tough time. Some of these natives will tolerate that really hot, dry environment, and I'd say prairie drop seed is one of them. Also, I like to use things like New Jersey tea. It's a small, compact, semi-woody native plant that's going to stay in size with many of our smaller landscapes like the courtyards. Instead of using a big barberry that naturally grows to 6 feet and reaches out and scratches you as you walk past the sidewalk, something like a New Jersey tea will take that hot environment next to the sidewalk, have beautiful white flowers midsummer, and great texture and no thorns. One of the greatest opportunities is for us to look at the problem situations we have in our landscape, the plants that pose problems like they're too big or they're too thorny or they flop, and consider, is there a native that I can use instead that will provide some wonderful ornamental value, plus grow well without coddling it, without having to water too much. There are so many alternatives with our native plants, so I hope that people will consider those. To conserve moisture in your landscape, remember it all starts with the soil. Many of our new construction sites have been compacted with driving over time and time again materials piled in spaces that you want to be beautiful. So addressing the soil issues, breaking through that compaction, incorporating organic matter so you have a really healthy soil environment will mean the plants that you choose for that spot can root most thoroughly and be the healthiest and tolerate the dry periods that we have in our landscape. Once our plants are established, meaning probably most any plant, but particularly natives, then their water requirements are less, and that way we can reduce the amount of ongoing irrigation that we have to do in our landscape. But remember, not all native plants are in the dry plains. There are pockets of wet places in the native environment, and the plants that grow there might be the ones that you choose for planting where irrigation water is accumulating, there's floodplain sort of situations. Choose the plants from that kind of natural environment to fit into the situations that might be staying wetter. We come back to the ultimate point about your own personal landscape, that you should make choices that suit the way you want to live outdoors, and we do hope that everyone will choose to spend time outdoors. Set priorities. Try to maintain intense spaces where you're going to be using that space. So close to the patio, close to the front door, those are the most important spots. And as you move further and further away from your front door or patio, perhaps the management of your landscape can be a little bit looser, not quite as intense, not as water demanding. So set the priorities for the places where you're using the landscape, and then lighten up. Give yourself a break, let the plants grow as they do naturally, and you'll find not only is there less management from pruning or fertilizing, but you'll be using less water. So try to do what you can, the best you can in those high priority spaces, and then just let nature take its course. It can still be a naturally beautiful landscape without consuming lots of water and lots of your time, which we all know is both very limited resources. So let's make the best of all of them.